Welcome back. Today I actually come to you with a little bit of news. Actually, big news. In 3 weeks, exactly 3 weeks, Blair and I are leaving to move to Boston. You're joining me on Friday, May 2nd. Blair and I are heading out in just a couple hours to fly to Boston to apartment hunt. We have a lot of catching up to do. We are hoping to look at a bunch of apartments and sign a lease, but you know, we'll see. I don't know. I'm feeling cautiously optimistic. We're good to move, like we can make the move happen with our jobs, but at this point it's just down to finding a place. We've been looking at apartments for weeks leading up to this. We've been requesting viewings on certain ones that we really like, and the agent that we've been working with got back to us yesterday and said, I reached out to all of these, most of them only allow 1 pet, so you're kind of out of luck. Not great news. We have 2 lined up so far for tomorrow. Neither of them are in my favorite neighborhood. We'll see how it goes. I'm trying not to be too stressed or expect anything, I guess. I don't know. Trying to go in open-minded, although I do have preferences. So we will see what happens. Stay tuned. So we spent the first weekend of May in Boston. The cherry blossoms were blossoming and it was so pretty. The weather was incredible. We saw 2 apartments. Both were in the South End. The first one we saw was a little bit cramped and small. And by a little bit, I mean kind of a lot. So we passed on that one. And then the second one we saw, we really loved. We applied for it, had high hopes, and then the landlord got back and said that they weren't comfortable with pets. So we didn't get it, which was a bummer. But we enjoyed the rest of our weekend in Boston. It was a little bit stressful, to be honest, but we came back and then like a day later reached out to someone on Zillow for an apartment that came available. We had a FaceTime viewing the next day and then signed the lease that week. A little scary that we haven't actually seen it in real life. The apartment is honestly everything that I wanted at the beginning of this process. It has the cute bay windows, the classic Boston look to it. We also have an office space, which is crazy because we really thought we would only get 1 bedroom. So that's a plus as well. And yeah, Boston, here we come, baby. It feels so surreal. It doesn't really look like we're moving in 3 weeks if you look at our house. We definitely need to get on that. I haven't even packed a single box. Blair's packed like 5. Maybe I need to do that today, actually. I just can't believe we're moving again. If you've been here for a while, you'll know that I've wanted to move the whole time. I've had a YouTube channel, and even before that, really. I moved to Nashville when I was 18. I'm turning 30 this year, so it's been quite a while. And I went to school here. A lot of my friends dispersed after school, as they do. And for the past 4 or 5 years, I've just felt very trapped here, and like I've outgrown it. It's a hard feeling to describe because it's not like I don't like Nashville. It's just, I don't feel like there's much left for me here in a weird way. Like I just feel like I've outgrown it. It's the only way I know how to describe it. I feel like most people can relate to that feeling, probably. If it were fully up to me, I would have been gone already, like years ago. I would have been in New York, I would have been in Europe, I would have been other places, but sometimes life just doesn't work out that way. And that's okay, because also 5 years ago, I never would have thought that we would end up in Boston. Like that was not on our radar at all. I'm very glad that it worked out this way. I can't believe it, honestly. Living somewhere for almost 12 years, it's gonna be a big change, and I'm trying to really soak in the last 3 weeks of living here and trying to be present and appreciate it and not be stressed about the move. I'm very aware that a chapter of my life is ending, and I don't think I've ever had that before. In the past, I never fully knew or could grasp that a chapter of my life was actually ending and that I would never be able to go back to it. I obviously don't mean physical location, but just an era of your life, whether it's an apartment that you're living in, living alone, being single, having all your friends in one place. Like, all of these different chapters have ended at some point. In those moments, I wasn't able to understand that, so I didn't process it as it was happening, if that makes sense. This time I feel like I'm actually able to do that, which is kind of a luxury in a way. And so we're kind of going on like a Nashville farewell tour, going to all the restaurants that we've been to over the years and that we frequent, and the coffee shops and the parks and the different hikes, and just really like letting it sink in that like this is the last time I will ever be this version of myself again. I don't know, it's weird. In these places that I've been going to for the past sometimes 12 years. I hate to do the count. I've said this in at least 3 other videos. Since I moved to Nashville for school, I have moved every single year except one place that I lived. I lived for 2 years. Other than that, every place I lived, only for a year. Maybe a year and a half in some cases, but like in this case, it's only gonna end up being 8 months or something. That is another thing I'm very sad about, is leaving this house that I love so much. The neighborhood that we live in, I just love so much. It's my favorite neighborhood in Nashville. I have such a, what is the word I'm looking for? I have such a connection to it, I think, because this is the first neighborhood that Blair and I lived together in this house upstairs. And just all the memories of going to our favorite places around here, adopting Juniper from down the street. We live right next to this greenway and I walk there every single day. And I have since like 2020. There's a lot like wrapped into this neighborhood specifically. I think when I first lived here in this house 4 years ago, I assumed that I was done coming of age. There was an era of my life that felt very formative in my early 20s, and I think I just assumed because I had that, I didn't need it again, or like it wasn't gonna happen again. But then when I lived in this house, in the upstairs, I lived alone for a few months, and that was like one of the most formative few months of my life, right before I got married too. And then the first year of marriage, living in this house, in this neighborhood, it just feels very sentimental to me. It's comforting to know that I will continue going through changes in my life, that when I look back, even a few years later, it will feel significant. Like this move to Boston, I know in a few years when I look back on it, it's gonna feel like a very significant, probably turning point in my life, which is just cool to think about. I love that that can happen at any age. I hope that can happen at any age. We have obviously wanted to move for a long time, as I said. Boston was never on our radar until Blair started working for the company he works for. His boss lived in Boston, always speaks so highly of it, and like wants to move back there, and that kind of put it on our radar, and we were like, oh, maybe we should at least visit Boston and just check it out. So we did. That was last year, and we really liked it. We'd been to Cape Cod before, so we had been in the general region, and I also like am obsessed with Cape Cod. For a while we were waiting for me to find a job in Boston. It wasn't really happening, and then one day I was like, what? Why didn't I just ask my current company if I can go fully remote? What's the worst that can happen? They say no. And then I'm like, oh, okay, well, guess I'm not moving then. I don't know, something just clicked in my head and I was like, I could just ask. So I did, and they're letting me go fully remote, which is also amazing because I've wanted that for a long time. Yeah, we're really excited. I need to like really commit to making a moving vlog because I just have never done that, and we've moved so many times. It's like, why not, you know? Especially doing such a long distance move, I feel like it'll be good content. So I need to do that. Over the next 3 weeks, we'll be packing this house up, saying goodbye to our neighborhood, and the city that I've lived in for the past 12 years. Yeah, lots of change coming up. Join me for my Boston era. I'm so excited. Okay. Thank you for joining me on this little life update, or big life update actually. That's it. Let's go to Boston, baby.